So, I'm going to be talking about some comic book news. I just figured the two videos themselves were probably not going to be able to... They basically weren't going to be able to sustain, like, a whole video. So I was like, fuck it, I will do both. Like, I'm going to do both as, like, full-on, of one big video. Hopefully that'll be enough to do both. So, basically, let's talk about the first thing. And because I'm such a werewolf fan, I thought I'd talk about this first. We have the announcement for a new Batman Black Label book. Shocker. Stop me if you heard that one. Batman's getting a Black Label book. Only been, like, what, 60? Yeah. And I know, like that sucks, too, because there's also, like, really good other like Black Label comics that aren't Batman, but they don't get any appreciation, like Joshua Williamson's Rogues comic, or like there was one by Ram V called Aquaman Andromeda, which was like Lovecraftian horror, and of course like Wonder Woman Dead Earth. So you know, it's just now just another Black Label is now just another Batman title. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Anyway. But this is a little different. Like, this basically is, a, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, this basically is a comic that I would want to read. Batman fighting werewolves. If you guys don't know, or if you've been here long enough, werewolves are probably one of my favorite monsters. I always enjoy a good werewolf movie. I prefer them over vampires. They're just cooler. So, to have a Batman versus werewolf story is really cool. And it's also going to be really cool to see who the writer is, too. That being Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes has done... has been doing a comic called Philadelphia over on an Image, which is a vampire book, but it does have werewolf stuff in it too. In fact, they were doing like an event that involved a big crossover between, you know, Savage Dragon, Spawn, and Blackula with Dracula in it. So I need to get back to talking about I have the first two volumes of Philadelphia. And I want to get more of the volumes because I really like the first volume so much. And Rodney Barnes has been doing a lot of comics now with mainstream again. He did the Luke Cage Gang War tie-in, which I'm like, I had no interest in Gang War, the Spider-Man Gang War story at all. Like, no fucks given to that comic. But after I heard Rodney Barnes did the Luke Cage tie-in, I'm like, maybe a peek into Gang War and see, and for the bare minimum of like Rodney Barnes doing Luke Cage. So this comic, sorry about that. I had some aloe vera on my hand and I got it on my mouth, and that led to that cut. So yeah, it led to that sudden cut. So I apologize. But getting back on topic, essentially. The idea of Batman fighting werewolves is nothing new. We've had that multiple times. In fact, we kind of had that in Batman the Animated Series. It wasn't a werewolf in the traditional sense, but it was kind of wolf-like. But here, basically, in this story, Rodney Barnes is going to be writing a comic book series centered around Bruce encountering a werewolf that has apparently long plagued Gotham. So, cool beans. I'm in. I believe this comes out in September. This is going to start September-ish, September, October-ish, and will be a 4-issue book. So I'll be reading that when it comes to trade. That sounds really cool. As moving on to the Marvel side of things, we have gotten more news on, some more news on Spider-Man's next writer, at least for a short time. So essentially what we have, for those who don't know, Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run is coming to an end in the next few story arcs. And Joe Casey, a very prominent comic book writer, will be taking over for the title. But we didn't know how long. Now, Joe Casey, we all thought was going to be like the permanent writer, but a part of me was like, I should have known better. I really should have known better that Casey was not going to stay on for a long time, and it turns out I was right. Joe Casey, Joe Casey's only staying on for a 10-issue run. That will be like a 10-issue story arc that he'll be taking over. So this kind of tells me one thing. Casey's not the permanent writer. He's just the stopgap guy until they can get a writer they want, like a writer that they can have and the editors will approve of, and not do anything of major note, and just be samey old Spider-Man. Am I bitter about? Do I sound bitter about that? Of course I do. Of course I'm bitter about it. How did you know? So yeah, great. Could it be, now, devil's advocate, could this still be a good comic? Like, could this still be a good story regardless? I think it will. I think this Joe Casey Spider-Man story arc could probably still have a lot of fun to it. The story will be called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And I guess he's only dying in 8 of those 10 books. I guess the other 2 issues are him, like, taking breaks in between the 4, like, dying 4 times, take a break, dying 4 times, take another, take a break at the end. Or not dying at the start and finish everywhere else, and the other 8 times he's fucking dying everywhere. We don't really know much about this comic in any way, shape, or form. All we know is Joe Casey is going to be also working with multiple writers, and this will be in continuity, but only for, like I said, 10 issues, and by then they'll probably announce after that, or even during, Joe Casey's 10-issue run, basically, I think they'll announce, like, Spider-Man's next permanent writer. As to who that could be, I don't know. But it will probably be, like, someone who is a known writer. I would put my money on Saladin Ahmed, who I'm not saying is a bad writer. I'm not saying he's Saladin Ahmed is a bad writer. I'm just saying, like, he'll probably, they'll probably get him to be their yes man, the Spider-Man editorial's yes man, and do, like, what Zeb Wells was doing, was just follow the marching orders and also not rock the boat like Nick Spencer was trying to do. That's what I really do. So I'm going to say Saladin Ahmed. Do I think he'll write good stories? Absolutely, I think he'll write good stories, but he won't do anything to really make you go, oh my god, Amazing Spider-Man is great again. It's something like that, But anyway. So yeah, like I said, there isn't really a lot of news to really talk about with these two. I was just like, oh, these are 2 bits of interesting facts about these 2 characters. Why not just talk about it? So yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of Batman Full Moon and the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.